What if today your breakthrough began not with a request, but with a song? What if the chains that held your joy captive, the burdens that silenced your praise, and the battles that drained your spirit were never meant to be fought in silence, but surrendered in worship? When you begin your day, not with anxiety or worries, but with a song, you open a new space for your soul to be renewed. It's not just about listening to music or humming a tune. It's a powerful decision to connect with God and open your heart to His presence. Starting your day with a song of praise can change the entire atmosphere of your life, bringing peace and joy in the midst of chaos. Psalm 96 calls us to sing to the Lord a new song. Sing to the Lord, all the earth. This is not a mere suggestion, but a divine invitation to align our hearts with God's will, to declare His glory, and to step into a victorious life. When you sing a new song, you are not just offering music, you are declaring spiritual victory. You are engaging in spiritual warfare, prophesying with every note and lyric, turning your praise into a weapon against fear, discouragement, and doubt. Praise is more than just expressing gratitude. It is a powerful weapon. Every time you sing with faith, you are declaring victory. Your song becomes a declaration of God's greatness, reminding you that He is still in control, regardless of your current circumstances. It's not about having a perfect life, but about recognizing that God is worthy of your praise despite the challenges. When you praise, you are not only lifting your spirit, but you are shifting the spiritual atmosphere. Praise invites God's presence, and when His presence comes, everything changes. What once felt impossible becomes possible because you are inviting the One who makes all things new into your situation. The transformation doesn't always happen instantly, but when you commit to praise, you open the door for miracles to unfold in your life. The power of praise is immense. When you lift your voice in worship, you are not just speaking words, you are stepping into the divine realm, aligning yourself with God's truth. Praise breaks the chains of fear and doubt and brings healing. It is a declaration that you are not defined by your circumstances, but by the victory that Christ has already secured for you. Praise has the ability to change you from the inside out, and with each note, you are becoming more aligned with God's will. When you praise, you are walking in the power of God's promises. Every song becomes a prophecy, a declaration of the good things God is going to do in your life. You are not just singing about what has happened, but about what is yet to come. Praise is an act of faith, believing that even when things are not perfect, God's plan for your life is good. You praise because God is faithful, and His promises are true. Praise is a weapon of spiritual warfare. It is not just a form of expression, but a declaration of God's power and authority. Every time you sing, you are fighting the battles that seek to steal your joy, peace, and strength. Praise is not about waiting for circumstances to change, but about declaring that you trust God to change them. The act of worship becomes the battleground where you claim victory over every enemy, where discouragement, fear, and doubt are defeated. The power of collective praise is also profound. When we come together in worship, we create an atmosphere where God's power is magnified and the impossible becomes possible. Praise is not just an individual act, but something that can bring entire communities together. When we sing together, we create a collective force that is greater than any individual, uniting us in faith and purpose. Praise brings healing. Whether physical, emotional, or spiritual, praise opens the door for God's healing power to flow into our lives. When we worship, we are not only acknowledging God's goodness, but we are inviting His healing into every area of our lives. Every note, every word sung in faith, carries with it the power of God's restoration and healing. In moments of grief, pain, or loss, praise becomes our refuge. It is in those moments that we are reminded that God is still worthy of our praise. Praise does not depend on our circumstances, it depends on who God is. Even when we feel broken or overwhelmed, our praise can become the means by which God heals and restores us. Every time you praise, you are making a statement to yourself and to the world that God is faithful. Even in the midst of trials, even when the answers are not immediately visible, God is still at work. Praise reminds us that we are never alone, and it stirs our hearts to remember God's faithfulness. Every song we sing becomes an offering to God, a declaration that we trust Him with our future. As we continue to praise, we remember that God is with us in every moment. Our praise invites Him into our lives, into our situations, and into our hearts. When we praise, we are not just singing songs, we are stepping into a deeper relationship with God, allowing Him to move powerfully in every aspect of our lives. Praise opens the door to transformation, healing, and breakthrough. Praise is a tool for victory. It is not only an act of thanksgiving, but also a declaration of faith and victory over every situation we face. As we praise, we declare that no matter what the world throws at us, God is greater. We are not defeated by our circumstances. We are more than conquerors through Christ who strengthens us. When we praise, we declare that we are victorious, not because of our strength, but because of God's power. We remind ourselves that we are not defined by our failures, but by the victory that Christ has already won for us. Praise lifts our eyes from our struggles to God's greatness, helping us focus on His ability to overcome every obstacle. Praise is not just for the good times, it is for every moment. Whether in joy or sorrow, we are called to praise. It is through praise that we experience the full extent of God's power in our lives. Praise invites God's presence into every circumstance, and His presence changes everything. It transforms our hearts, renews our minds, and restores our spirits. Every time you sing, you are not just singing a song, you are declaring that God is still on the throne. You are announcing that His plan is good and that He will bring all things to completion in His perfect timing. Praise becomes the pathway through which we connect with God's heart and align our lives with His will. Now, before we close this moment, I want to invite you to take a step of action. If you believe that God is worthy of your praise, I encourage you to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Let us continue to spread this message of faith, hope, and victory. Share this video with someone who needs a fresh word of encouragement. Your praise not only changes your life, but can inspire others to praise God as well. We are in this together. As we continue on this journey of faith, let us remember that the power of praise is greater than any circumstance. Through every trial, we can stand firm, knowing that God is with us. Let us continue to lift our voices in worship, declaring that He is worthy of all glory, honor, and praise. May your life be filled with the power of His presence, and may your praise lead you to victory, healing, and restoration. Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and let's continue this journey of worship together. God bless you, and remember, you are more than a conqueror through Christ.